I know we are joined by some people from Malaysia and India, a little bit ahead of time. They are 5 hours ahead, Malaysia. We have some people from Angola. We'll have them greeting us at some point. And therefore, I just want to appreciate everybody for having come on board. We will not be able to wait much longer. We begin the meeting. And my name is Peter, president of the chamber, that is Africa Agent in Leadership in Saito University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm a banker of about 17 years, currently with Capital here in Kenya. And I am a speaker, I'm a motivator, I'm a consultant, especially in matters related to entrepreneurship. And really privileged to be your speaker tonight. The topic we're handling, Agile leadership in a disrupted and the blame filled world is really key. It's really a powerful conversation. One of the most urgent and necessary leadership shifts of our time, really. Everybody is a leader in their own way. And I want to just take off and tell you that we will focus on why agile leadership matters more than ever, especially in today's uncertain and fast-moving world. Our aim today is simple: to inspire action. One, to inspire action. Two, to encourage adaptability. And the three, to push personal leadership responsibility. Literally, forward-looking leadership. You can see in a nutshell on the screen over there. As we move to the next slide, while leadership is no longer a luxury, but a survival necessity. And I was saying that the world is rapidly changing, and especially economically, politically, and technology-wise. And these three are very much interconnected. What is happening in our political space influencing a lot of what is happening in tech world, and ultimately in economy. They speak to each other. I know everybody now is privy of what is happening with the trade wars, the tariffs, fights and battle between China and the US, and which is now affecting all of us, even unto this. I know we'll touch a little bit on that. Okay. So leadership today requires adaptability. It requires speed, and it requires resilience. Okay. You need to adapt to what is happening. I'm sure you guys remember, in the year 2020, there were those guys who are, popularly known as the COVID millionaires. Because what was happening when the people were complaining and, fearing and coiling, the people took advantage. They adapted to the situation. And they did that with speed. Okay? You cannot leave resilience behind there. Okay? So the next slide is trying to put this into the global context, and we are living in a disrupted world, guys. I just mentioned about US and China, the 145% up to really, tariff from the US, the retaliation from China, and the global ripple effect that is happening. Let me say this. The escalating trade war between the United States and China, with the tariffs reaching as high as 145. So I was saying, when you see what is on your screen, guys, global context, and so much focusing on the disruption that is going on now, the disruption, and we went to the US, and we are saying the escalating trade war between the United States and China, with those tariffs skyrocketing to 145 from US side on Chinese goods, and then China retaliates from Beijing. Then there is a ripple effect that is affecting literally the whole world up to where I am now. So as a leader, what I'm going to challenge you is, are you aware, or are you sensitive, or are you seeking information to understand how this affects you? How can you leverage on this? How can you take advantage of the situation and probably uh, build your economic resilience, benefit from it, and probably even be better than how you were? The first thing is, of course, understanding. So do we understand, and are we seeking to understand, or are we ignorant? You know, for leadership, or you must begin with knowledge. You must begin with having information. The global supply chains have been disrupted properly. Commodities are fluctuated. We have cries from all over. Like in Kenya, we call it what, Angoa. Our EPZ down there, it employs thousands and thousands of people supporting families. We don't know what that's going to happen. I know they've been given 3 months, I think 90 days. We don't know what will happen after that. If it is affected, then what is the impact that's going to come on our side? Okay. On the flip side, a lot of innovations. AI is with us here. A lot of things going on there with ChatGPT and DeepSeek and all that. I know we have scholars here. There's a lot of questions on whether AI should be adopted in the universities and to what level that should be happening. Uh, Most people are using them at workplace, very convenient, but many questions are coming. Okay. So, when these technological changes are accelerating, one, like I'm saying, agentic AI is transforming how decisions are being made very much. There's a lot of things going on spatial computing, opening a lot of new virtual economies. Literally, what I can say is the old leadership playbook, that is waiting for stability to come, is obsolete. Today's leadership must thrive within instability. Yes, I can repeat that. That today's leadership must thrive within instability. And if that is the only thing that you take home today, then that will be something. That with instability, you have the attitude of thriving there. You can call it a paradigm shift. Okay. We are here. Most of us are Kenyans, Africans, and I thought I could touch a little bit of that. Okay. So from our continent all through into our country, Kenya. Inflation and unemployment remain pressing issues. We know that today. Political transitions continue to create uncertainty. Political transitions, you know what I'm talking about. Youth unemployment in Kenya hovers around 35%, according to the KNBS statistics. But can you imagine, within all this, Nairobi has emerged as Africa's Silicon Savannah. With our M-Pesa fintech, with agri-tech innovations, they have thrived despite the challenges. Yeah. Therefore, from there, we can say that agility, not perfect condition, determines progress. Progress will be determined by how agile you are, not because conditions are perfect. Of course, agile, versatile, adaptable, all those words are going together. You know very well Kenya leads in mobile money with M-Pesa. Our fintech sector attracts over $300 million in funding last year alone. And therefore that makes Kenya one of the top 3 African tech destinations. Are we aware of these things? Yeah, even as people complain and murmur on what the government is doing and what the government is not doing, what the regulations are doing and what they're not doing, which policies are in place and which policies are not in place. There's a leader, and every one of us is our leader in our own rights. Are these things um, clear in our minds? Because they affect your action. Your action definitely will affect the results. Yeah. In agriculture, startups like Tiger Foods have revolutionized farming, farm to market supply chains, really, farm to market supply chains. A lot of things have really happened on that. So the key lesson here is Kenya will not win, and Kenya is not winning because of perfect conditions, but Kenya will win because of entrepreneurial agility, which of course will be driven by the engine of leadership resilience. These are very pertinent issues, very, very pertinent issues. And just in case I have any internet issues, you don't hear me well, you can let me know. I've tried to change to a more reliable connection. Okay. So moving on the next slide. I'm driving to this, and this is very key, breaking the blame culture. Yeah. I have mentioned these things before about the blaming the government, policies, makers, external forces. And most of the time, actually, these complaints are justified. Only that they cannot replace responsibility. Justified, but cannot replace responsibility. Most of the time, the citizens will blame their leaders, maybe their members of parliament, for the economic challenge. Institutions pointing fingers rather than solving the problems. And we know people who have made money, people who have succeeded, it's been because they have solved a problem. They offered a solution. Yeah. And we know very well governments have duty to create enabling environments, but agile leadership means not surrendering to helplessness. Agile leadership means that you don't surrender to helplessness. You know, in Kenya, we blamed Kenyatta one. We said, he's taken over power from the white man and now everything is about him. And then came Moi, the regime, and then we said it's a dictator, one party, no democracy, and went on and on. 24 years. When Kibaki came in, we had more confidence, not just because of what Kibaki regime was doing, but just that democracy, we felt democracy has come, and we felt change has come. And the confidence before whatever the Kibaki regime did, the confidence that was in the country, in Kenya, I know there are people abroad, you'll bear with us on that now, people from the other countries. When the Kibaki regime came in, the confidence in the society, in the country, is what brought the economic change before many other things. Because we felt change has come, and therefore people were really working and all that. And of course, the enabling environment in that they did not interfere much with how things were going. But then fast forward, that was first term. Second term, Kenyans killed one another more than ever before. And it was still hungered on resources, which community benefits more than the other one. It is still about economy and all that. Yeah, so we still really blamed that regime. Fast forward, the Uhuru regime comes and we talked about dynasty and all that. And now when Ruto comes, we're saying you promise and you don't do the current regime. So if you were in your early 20s, late, towards the end of Moi regime. You are here probably over 40 now or 50. And you can sufficiently say if somebody was just following the wind of what was happening in our economic environment at the national level, then you would live blaming and blaming and blaming and blaming. Yeah. And we don't know, again, for the foreigners, we don't know when the next regime comes. We don't know whether people will be satisfied, but going by how the curve has been going, probably will still be complaining. So if we are not careful, and especially with the statement that I'm putting here today, that leadership is about learning to sail better in rough waters and not waiting for perfect seas. Don't wait for the calm waters. Learn to sail in the storm. And this is, I've used Kenya as a prototype, my friend from Angola. I'm sure if you were given a chance to speak here, the same story you would say. You represent West Africa pretty well. Yeah. My friends from Malaysia, India, you have a story to tell. Yeah. So what we're discussing today is to try to avoid as much as possible living in the blame, living in the populace of complaining and finger pointing. Then you'll be an agile leader. In other words, you'll be looking at the opportunities you'll be looking at the opportunities available rather than the complaining. I am trying to describe what is agile leadership in the screen before you. That for agility in leadership, you need to be self-aware. Yeah. And here I mean always learning and always evolving. Yeah. Always learning and always evolving. Um, uh, I was told and I read that story, the CEO for Nokia, when they finally closed down, he cried. And then when he stood to speak during that ceremony, he said, guys, my tears are not about something wrong that we did or I did as the leader, but the fact that it's only that things changed and we did not change. And that's why we are here today. Most of us here knows about Kodak. They were really positions to go to the digital photography, the digital stuff, everything they would have, but they resisted the change. And so, and I want to say, that reflection of learning, like the new technologies coming, innovations coming, and all that, also is also about attitude, learning what's happening now, how things are changing and flowing with them. Yeah. You can think of the resilience shown during COVID-19 when markets closed. Kenyan farmers they went to e-commerce platforms, to sell. It was called what? Selina Wamushi something. They went there to sell directly to the consumers, Of course, even most of employers adopting working from home formula. Some of them have never even gone back. Yeah. Complaining would not have helped them or fed those farmers or helped those organizations who adopted, also some of the current. But agility did. And you can use that to check yourself as a leader. And all of us are leader in our own rights. You are leading yourself first, really. Where are you taking yourself? Where are you taking that organization that you're leading? Where are you taking that family? Those siblings, that class you're in. So the challenge tonight is always learning and evolving. Yeah, constant learning, constant evolving. If we can go back to that slide. Yeah, we're talking about being adaptable. You know, you are open to change and feedback. You know, I tell people the good book I love reading says that the wise man loves to be corrected and given direction. Are you open to change? Can you adapt when things, are different, when things happen? Are you open to that? Yeah. Do you empower others? Trusting others to take an initiative? Or will you resist something? Will you fight an idea just because it has come from somebody else, maybe a subordinate or a different person? Yeah. Do you fight the idea? Yeah. You need to be vision driven. Yet you have a vision, that's okay, but you are flexible. You have a clear direction. You have a dynamic approach on what you're doing. But please, that vision does not mean you cannot bend. When you learn something tomorrow, you can change. Yeah. These things we are saying here, they are not new. They cannot be new even. But I think tonight, the question that you need to ask yourself is, how much do you live up to them? How much do you apply? Yeah. And it's very important as we work, most of us, especially in leadership, you have work. You wake up, you run to work, you make decisions, time, evening, go back home, get to work again and running. But you need to take time to reflect so that you can be able to see yourself in this, like use this mirror to see yourself. How agile am I as a leader? Yeah. I think that kind of self-audit can really help us. We are talking about survival here, for your survival sake. Okay. Moving on. What is the route? What is the way out? You can say you move from complaining to leading. Okay. I wanted to give an example. We can go back there. This guy, Peter Degwa of Safaricom, I just realized I didn't give that example. The Safaricom, they moved to M-Pesa Global. I don't know, somebody remembers that time when, these guys chose to go that direction. I remember when we were buying these online meeting platforms. You have a visa from M-Pesa Global and you're able to purchase your stuff, And I can say for Safaricom, and I know this came so much with Peter Degwa, that was really an example of agility or adaptability, going that direction, because there was a lot of uncertainty. If you remember, their income levels really went down at some point. They were complaining when you look at the curve, the way it's been going. And today, M-Pesa Global is something that has really, if you look at their contribution, the percentage of contribution of M-Pesa Global to Safaricom's book and revenues, it's significant. Yet it is just something that came with innovation, came with agility. Yeah, I just wanted to belabor that and give an example before I go to this moving on from complaining to leading. Okay, so you move from murmuring, to mobilizing. You replace long complaint sessions with creative problem solving workshops. And I find this challenge in leadership most of the time. When something has happened, and probably you're going to call a crisis meeting, and you're discussing, challenges that has happened. You are really tempted to, as a leader, to whip people to complain in the session other than, coming on a solution leg and a way forward leg. That is a problem solving, a leg of focus. You need to move from dependency to decisiveness. And I mean, use what you have, okay? Act with what you have. Because most of the time, indecisiveness, agile leadership, again, you're also chatting into unknown waters. So that means you need to be a risk taker. You need to be able to take calculated risk. Okay. It is known, and most of people you read books, motivation, and not in the fiction side, you'll find most of the people who have succeeded, they have had their time of failure. Most. I may not even need to mention that, and that is a known fact. So you need to have an element of risk taking, and that moves into decisiveness because you don't make a decision. We know what happened with Safaricom and Airtel, which changed many names: Airtel, Zain, all those, very many names they changed. In the business world, for the entrepreneurs in the house, there is something we call a first move advantage. And most of the time, the information is with everybody, but who takes risk first before the others? And then is way, way, way ahead of everybody. Because I remember the Safaricom and Airtel, market leader struggle began when the Kenyans needed some versatility in terms of the airtime that you're gonna buy, And Safaricom went fast. Airtel was here before them. They had the idea and all those, but Safaricom went fast into breaking the denomination. You could buy airtime for 5 shillings, for 10 shillings, for 20 shillings, 30 shillings. And they started also billing you depending on per minute billing. They started by the time Airtel, Zain, I don't know which name they were using that time, they were trying to catch up, which is an idea they had before. It's been almost a fatal blow to date. And I don't know what was going on into the executive of these guys in Airtel side, but I know it has to do with how fast to make decisions. Because finally they are forced. Today they have to follow what Safaricom is doing. Follow. Okay. I've worked in Standard Chartered Bank, I've worked in Barclays Bank, I've worked in Gulf Bank. And when M-Pesa came, there was a lot of resistance in adoption. Most of these big banks, then, that story is never there more, and it's about agility. They used to segment clients and say, if you cannot hold a balance of 60,000 Kenya shillings or so, you cannot be our customer. We are dealing with the premier, with the affluent, stuff like that. Equity went the opposite. They adopted the change and said, we can actually tailor-make facilities for this population that is not being given a solution by the current banking conventional those days. Yeah. And actually that was the game changer. That is how Equity became market leader. Today, you look at their book, you cannot compare with Barclays, with Stanchart. Barclays actually had to rebrand and sell out. Stanchart is actually going the same way, despite trying to adopt, to follow after. And these things have to do with the decisiveness and how fast you make. There's a time element. There's a time element and the economical element, financial element, in the decisions that you make. It is not about doing the right thing now. It's also doing the right thing fast enough. Okay? And that means you need to walk with that mind of being, decisive. Yeah? Taking risk and taking responsibility for them. Okay? So agile leaders don't just weather storms. They use storms to build better ships for tomorrow. I can repeat that again. Agile leaders will not just weather storms, but they will use those storms to build better ships for tomorrow. I remember one time somebody told me a real leader does not celebrate too much. Even when they win, they are looking for the next battle. The next challenge, you can say that. They don't wait so much. They don't celebrate so much because what has meant you win now may not help you tomorrow. Things are moving on. Okay. These guys, they will move from perfectionism to progress. Yeah. I think waiting for perfect situations is always is an enemy. Actually, is an enemy. Yeah. Even the weather is never perfect. We pride ourselves to be in the equator and all that, but you have to struggle when it is extreme heat, when it's not. Yeah. Yeah. But today, I normally have one of the reliable service providers for my Wi-Fi. Today, it is an issue. I have to change. There's never a perfect. There's no perfection here. But you look at progress. That is agile leaders. Yeah. They move from perfectionism and they go to progress. So they look at progress. Yeah. What does that one mean in layman's? They will launch projects even when it is imperfect. They want to move. They want to move. Okay. Yeah. And what we are doing tonight from AMEC, Africa Asia Middle East Chamber of Commerce, that is part of it. We have launched this. We'll be having speakers. I know will be shown later from all over the globe doing this. I pray that you don't miss. I'm just starting today. We'll have entrepreneurs, professionals from this country, government people. This is going to be happening probably every 2 weeks or once monthly. We are still working on that, but we have a set of speakers from all over the world, and this is what we are saying. We said we will not wait anymore. We'll lodge it. Okay. Talk about preaching water and drinking water. Another point is from solo vision to shared resilience. They build communities that pivot and grow together. Community that will pivot and grow together. They move from solo vision, having a vision alone, but, other than working with other people. Remember, somebody said that you can make the cake so huge that everybody has a portion, enough portion. Yeah. So resilient or agile leaders, they work with shared resilience, Yeah. They have a community growth. They have a bigger and a wider picture. Yeah. Remember, it's only like in the body, the cancerous cells, they grow alone. They only want to grow alone and not with anybody else. Yeah. So this is to you guys as well. That to be an agile leader, please look into working with other people, and you'll be able to accommodate, to listen, to receive challenges, to accommodate weaknesses and all that. Okay. Okay, I'm finishing that as I go to the next slide by repeating a statement that I said earlier, that agile leaders don't just weather storms. They use storms to build better ships for tomorrow. You can say for the next storm, or for the next change. Okay. So the next slide, we are talking about our role as AMEC in building agile leaders. Okay. And we connect Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. We are a chamber of commerce, okay? We're a chamber of commerce. Our vision is fostering sustainable trade, sustainable innovation, sustainable investment globally. We actually say global partnerships across continents, okay? And leadership is very key for us because leadership influences what happens. And the leadership, we are talking about leadership as in what is in the minds of citizens, what is in the minds of humanity, other than just the political leadership that we have. We're talking about that. Let's go back to the screen for AMEC's role. Yeah, we're talking about We're talking about what is in us, me and you, not Aruto. I don't know. I don't remember your name, your prime minister name in Malaysia. There, I know India is Modi. Angola, your president. I don't. It is what is in me and you rather than um, what we see. Remember, today we kind of trying to pull one another to a paradigm shift on what leadership is. And because most of the time they say the leadership you see is a reflection of the society. And if the society changes, the leadership will have to change. Because finally, it is one of us, it is me and you who will be in that position of influence. Yeah. If we change ourselves. And also, if the leaders realize the mass is going this direction, they will have to adopt and come in that direction. So we promote trade, innovation, and leadership. We have members in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. We have members in many other parts of the world, like Europe. You can mention Italy, UK, Brussels. Yeah, we have all those places. Holland, which is Poland. We have and Poland as well. So it is really amazing, huh? If you choose to do these things. And I remember one time, I was interacting with my friends in Malaysia. And then they asked me, why Africa? Why are you beginning with Africa and not Asia? Then I asked them, why Asia then? Why begin with Asia then? If you have a problem when we begin with Africa? Of course, the room went quiet. But I said, even if you were to go with alphabetical order, Africa begins first. And one of the things that we emphasize in AMEC is this. We say, for you to have any sustainable relationship, to have any sustainable engagement, we need to have benefit both sides. That is true for economic engagement, which we foster here. Because what will happen is when we do some transaction with you today, and you benefit and I don't benefit, or you benefit more than I benefit, tomorrow you'll remember. You will find out tomorrow. And if you do that, what is going to happen? You will say, okay, this guy has been playing me, and you will pull your string as well. Okay. So for sustainable interactions, even for our friends from Asia, we work together. From Europe, we work together. Our board composition, we have people from all these other continents, Australia, UK. We say this, let this be a mutual benefit thing, not a parasitic thing. Okay. Yeah. For example, the other day we brought some investors who produce, they make some vaccine for sheep and goats. And they are so confident saying that it will increase, our productivity, health, and all that. Then we said, if true, this vaccine is so good, why don't you build a plant here other than us importing? You have some knowledge transfer to our country. You employ some people. You pay taxes in our country, okay? And then you take the profits, you take back to your country. And then after we do that, because you're saying our sheep and goats are going to have a massive productivity increase, then open up the market so that we can import products associated with this to your country. Open the market that you can sell meat and meat products to your country. And I thought that is closer home if we talk like that. Other than producing your country all the time, everything, we buy to bring to you. And we know for African countries, the balance of trade is always skewed against us because we're ever importing. Okay. But if we can all have a long-term view of things, okay, the guys from Australia, the guys from US, the guys from the UK, they don't have to take advantage of us. We can all benefit. We have the market, we have the population, the youth population, the consumers. Okay, we have the young population, that means they're techies and all that. Okay, they have the professional experience, the maturity of products that have been developed over time, and all that, and then they get the market. Okay, so we have an exchange, and therefore, in your quest as an entrepreneur, as a leader, all the time, look for an engagement that has a mutual benefit. That is only what is sustainable. You can win today, and that win, what you have won today, is what will fail you tomorrow. That is how you come down tomorrow, because somebody will realize you really took advantage of them. This is agile leadership, and that is what we stand for in AMEC. Okay, we believe in responsibility first, then leadership comes. You need to own up the things that you say, the things that you do. Yeah. Because, you know, most of the time we want to project an image, and we want to take glory in the success, but we never want to take responsibility when things are going south or when the challenges come. But true, the winner is somebody who has overcome. Okay, the overcomer really is somebody who has overcome a challenge. And therefore, when there are challenges and a leader takes responsibility, those are the opportunities to show leadership. Yeah. So this what I'm discussing here, like responsibility, like your attitude, you know, when you're working with others, when you're partnering with others. So today, if you find there's a partner you work with, you know, don't be looking at how I will ensure I benefit, but I wish you can be looking at points of mutual benefit. You know, can you imagine you're trying to partner with somebody, maybe it is a JV, a joint venture you're trying to do. Then you find somebody is looking at the clauses and saying, okay, this is company A, my company. This is how it's going to be for me. And then this guy is so saying, hey, but wait, I will benefit this way. How will company B benefit? Yeah, I would dare tell you that if you get into any engagement and you realize on the long haul, you're going to take advantage of the other person, you're going to win alone, the other person is going to be disadvantaged. Try to look for ways for the other person to benefit, which sometimes might mean you reduce your gain. And that would be sustainable. Yeah, that would mean agile leadership. That what it means is it will be there tomorrow. Okay. So that means you will not be looking just for leadership transaction, you know, the famous, the infamous hit and run thing that that is happening these days, you know. We host forums like this to equip and empower people. We do international events. We just finished an event called CEO Conclave and Investors Dinner, covered by all the major national TV stations here, having speakers and investors from all over the world. You know, most of the continents in the world, really, let me say that, they were there. And we have very successful stories after that. It was at Kempinski, Villarosa. And that was the third edition, like our flagship networking event. Because in the chamber, we say that networking is not just a buzzword, but it is a survival strategy. Okay, for you to survive as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a professional, let me tell you, you need to network. You need to be very intentional about networking. You need to join networking entities like AMEC. You need to attend networking events. Some of them are paid for. Do that. Okay. Yeah, you need to interact. Most of the people, you know, people normally ask us, how you know, we see people coming from different, very far, you know, the 2 days flight and all things like that. How do you interact? We say it's networking. Yeah, we meet with them. We meet with you in Kuala Lumpur. I talk to you about my country next time I invite you here. Okay. Now next week I'm going to Angola, Luanda. I'll be speaking there. My friend Nenete from Angola Business Beyond Bonda will, you know, I'll be their keynote speaker there. But the main reason I'm going there is because an opportunity to network. The week after we have Algiers, you know, and it's quite expensive, time and everything, but networking, you are intentional about it. Yeah. Even here in Kenya, something you hate happening at KICC, just go and understand what are they talking about. Probably it's avocado industry, agriculture, or tech, or fintech, you know. Just be very intentional in networking and finding what is going on. Equip yourself, be very intentional in developing you, learning you, learning more about leadership. But those are some of the things we do. and we give people opportunity. Like now today, you're seeing me speak. Some of your speakers will be here next time. I'm sure we are going to be shown that at some point. Some of the speakers will, will be coming. We'll be having people come and talk to us in different topics. What are the challenges in international trade? When I want to start exporting, where do I need to begin? What are the documents that I need? Okay, if I want to get an investor for my entity here, where should I start? Where can I get them? Where do I find them? People who are proficient, they're professionals in those lines. How can I ensure that I'm tech savvy as a leader? Okay, such things will be talking. Leadership skills, even getting down to the soft skills. You'll have people speaking that, and that is a make for you. Yeah, with a big vision, we are getting our affiliates, registering in other countries, like Dubai, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. We are working on many other countries, India and Angola. That's why some of those guys are here. Yeah. Therefore, we really want to really encourage you to look into that. I want to move into the other next slide on final thoughts. And I wanted to say this: you are not just a product of your environment. You are a shape of it, or rather, you shape it. Okay. Don't blame your environment. Shape your environment to what you want it to be. It is good to be unsatisfied and comfortable with where you are, but please shape it. Yeah. You cannot be ashamed of being an African, an Asian, a Kenyan, and everything. Okay. But from the level that you are, work out and start where you are. Okay. So whether you are an entrepreneur in Machakos County, where I come from, or a tech innovator in Mombasa, okay, or a policymaker in Nairobi, please. The future favors the flexible, not the powerful. I hope you can hear that. It's not about how powerful you are, it's about how flexible you are, okay? Yesterday, I was seeing these creators, they were content creators, really. There was an interview Jeff Koinange was doing, and then I saw Kana speaking there, Jugu speaking, and all that. Then I listened to these guys. Then I happened to watch what they are doing in YouTube and how they're trying to convey their message, And I just like, these are just very normal people struggling with many things, even presenting themselves in the stage there, but they're just flexible. Some of them, they did actuarial science degrees, and then they found this is the way things are going, and they went that direction. Yeah. You see Kana running and that, I think he's the one who did actuarial science. You see him running and doing all those things that, you wonder. Okay. But that economy, the content creators is a big deal. Yeah, those young men are really making money, and I think you know that, and are actually influencing the society, in very many ways. Yeah. So those who adapt, let me say this, those who adapt will shape economies, they will create jobs, and they will influence generations. I pray that all of us who are here will be such that you're going to shape economies, that you're going to create jobs, that you're going to influence generations coming. Okay? It is time to move from murmuring to momentum. Please replace that thing called murmuring, complaining, and all that. Okay? You can say also moving from waiting to leading. Yeah? Other than waiting and waiting, you take the initiative and start leading. Okay? All right, moving to the next slide now. Well, I know I'm here as we move to the next level, but I invite you to be a part of a regional business leadership movement, to access networks, trade missions, and leadership capacity programs, to connect with the CEOs, governments, and innovators across these 3 continents and beyond. That's why I said global partnerships across continents. So we don't stop at Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. We are only saying based here, we connect to the world. This is where our presence is, okay? You can join AMEC today. You have on the screen there, you can see our website and email, phone number you can reach out to. And you can take a screenshot. You can scan me, okay? Yes, Mary, we have WhatsApp. I think I missed that. Even that number on the screen has WhatsApp. You can even chat that number, okay? You can chat that number. It's actually a WhatsApp number as well. I know it's one of the office line. Somebody can put the other lines, the other lines. Somebody, you can type the other lines on the especially the main one, the 011 016 000 777 016 000 777. You can put it there on the screen. Scan there. You can be able to go to the website, and you know, we are able to connect and fellowship into many things. We can discuss more. We can discuss more about that. Okay. So I know I'm supposed to. Can move to the next. Okay, fine. Let me have that one a little bit. When you are there, I wanted to say thank you very much for your time, for your leadership spirit. That's why you are here. The fact that you spotted the topic and you chose to be here, appreciate so much. You know, many people, I cannot mention all, Stanley, Kibio, my friends, I have many people on board here. I have some board members. I'm seeing Byron is there. Byron, the board members, you can chat me if you can say hi a little bit to everybody as we move to the next phase. Thank you for your time, for your leadership, and for your commitment, guys. Let us lead. Sorry. Let us lead with courage. Let us lead with agility and with vision. Okay. Vision, not stiff-necked thing, but vision that is tempered with agility. Knowing where you're going, but knowing that how to get there can really, really change. And the value of being there can really change because of the things that are here. Okay. The future is ours to shape. Let us shape it well, guys. Okay. So I wanted to stop at that and welcome a few people on board to say hello as we move to the next level. My brother from India, are you here? Are you still here? Okay. Miss Nenete, you here? Okay. Fine. We'll see how it comes. Amele, Ethiopia, I had forgotten about you. All right. I'm going to chat these guys, and I hope they can hear us, even as I check. But numbers from Poland, thank you for joining. You can still say something if you want us to do that. I've seen you here. Yeah. So as we do that, and as I check on these guys, because we want to really push to finish on time, please write your questions on the chat. A lot of questions on the chat. Then I will have responses. You prepare. Even Mutoko, the newest board member. Yeah, you'll be able to say hi. We got some of you sent questions earlier, which is very good. I think that's very commendable. Okay. So I wanted to invite Ruth. Ruth took some of the questions. She is the IT manager of the Nairobi University, based here in Chiromo. She's a member of the chamber, is a professional, and she can really, be very useful in many things. She's a scholar, PhD student at the USIU. and a publisher. She has published very, very, very many documents in very many topics. I wouldn't mind, Ruth, if you touch that a little bit about that. And then I will get back. I just want to check some of these people, then I can answer those questions. So you read the question because they are here in the meeting. They raise the questions earlier so that we can respond to them, even as we check whether we'll have more questions. Ruth.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Yes, I got two questions, so allow me to just read the one that I have, and then maybe we can speak about it very briefly and very shortly. The first question was on SACCOs. This is how it was, highlighting of world economy. So this question, I looked at it and it was focusing on reliability. When you look at SACCOs bring in members, and the reason for this membership is for them to be able to save money, to consistently access their money when they need it. So when I looked at that questions, we are talking about innovations that they could make, for reliability. And because when you talk about reliability, this is about the consistency. When somebody puts in their money into that circle, they want to be able to access their money, for instance, their savings. They want to be able to access loans. They need consistent service, and above everything, that there is security. So when you're looking at that, and in the era of technology, I'm looking at a situation where now we have to move circles to being really tech savvy, getting to the angle of digital transformation. Talk about the membership in a circle. How effective are we ever talking about automation, maybe innovative approaches where maybe if I need a loan, I don't have to really go physically to that place, but then I can access my loan. It gets processed without that physical interaction. So now that's the essence of digital transformation. And we have a lot of circles and in line, especially in Kenya, that are already moving towards that direction. And it's quite a thing. And I think that's where we need to go. In line with the topic today about agility, really, we cannot stick to that situation where somebody, for them to get a service, they have to physically walk into an entity somewhere. So I think that's a level that we need to quickly move circles to. And that, again, is a push to reliability. Talking about integrating fintech, for example, in Kenya, we have already money transfer systems working very efficiently. A case of M-Pesa. So then if you are transacting with your circle, you need to be able to push your money from your accounts in the circle, maybe to specific accounts, maybe in your M-Pesa, and then use the money from there. You see, now those are among options that will create trust for members, because somebody will know, yes, I can put my money there. This was the agreement between me and the circle, and these are the issues, So that consistency, that being able to effectively handle the issues between you and that circle is working to bring out the issue of reliability. I know we could talk about so many, many, many issues around technology and how circles can quickly move, but then the angle of technology is one that I really needed to highlight. Talking about security, for instance, again, technology is really coming in handy. If you've automated most of the services, again, we are talking about an increase in your level of security. So I think that's a focus that I really wanted to push in terms of that question. There's education, capacity building, because as you build capacity, you're also in terms of reliability. All right. So allow me to just leave that question at that point. Hopefully that I've handled. Whoever asked the question, you can let us know whether it has been sufficiently handled or more feedback even from the chamber. Then moving on, there was another question. The second question that I got was on, if I could quickly read it, it was what lessons from recent tech industry crisis, for instance, layoffs, PR failures, can inform resilient leadership strategies? So somebody is asking about the lessons from recent tech industry crisis. And I like what the speaker today highlighted, there could have been so many industry crises, and they continue to happen. But then that's why we are talking about agility. And I like a quote that the speaker today has said, that a leader should be able to exist and persist through instability. That's the leader. That's an agile leader. So we are talking about what are some of the lessons now that you could pick out from this recent tech crisis, and then we're also trying to focus on how can that inform resilient leadership strategies. So moving from that, or rather learning from that, as a leader and as that agile leader that you're talking about and really, really, really shouting about, is that leader, because I believe when you talk about leadership, then it's a circle where there are others that are being led. So there's somebody taking lead, and then there are others that are adopting to the vision of that leader, or that are the vision of that entity, because at any point in time, we have to move towards a direction. That's why we have the vision, the mission statement of any entity. So then in that case, then some of the lessons to really go around crisis, because crisis have to, we can't avoid it, as we've just talked about, today's webinar, is that there's a lot of changes that keep happening in businesses, setups, in environments. And then, so I think one of the key lessons that we can pick as a leader is that leader ought to, that environment, we need to really enforce communication, and very transparent communication for that matter. Because now, in that case, it will mean that everybody in that environment is aligned to the vision and the goal of that entity. So should there be a crisis, it is something that will not catch you by surprise, because you are part of it, you will understand. So as we enforce that understanding, it will be easy for that leader, even if it's a layoff, it will be a layoff with understanding, And as we do that, we are calling about, as we grow as entities, as businesses, there is now the issue of resiliences. So we enforce strategies that, again, are collaborative. And collaborative means, as a leader, you just offering guidance, offering leadership, but then it means everybody else is buying into the ideas that we have. And then, of course, maybe I could bring in the issue of active engagement. Active engagement, now that will mean that for whatever it's happening, everybody is kind of involved. So with that, then we are able to really mitigate some of these crises when and if they occur. Allow me to just get the questions to that point, so that I allow any other questions or any other speaker who is queued to answer anything. Thank you very much, and back to you. Back to you, Peter, or anyone in AMEC.
Okay, thank you very much, Ruth. We appreciate so much. But most of our international guests, we have time difference issues. We'll work with them next, but I can see Nanette has tried to join. Nanette, probably you said you're on the road, but going home probably. You can say hello from there.
I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you
I can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Thank
You are
you.
clear, very clear.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. President of Chamber of Commerce, AMEC, Peter Mutenda. I'm Ninette Solange dos Santos, and I'm the President of Angolan Business Beyond Border. We work actually in Belgium, and we have an office there in Brussels and an office in Angola, Luanda. So I'm happy for the invitation to be part of this meeting, online meeting. The last time I went to Nairobi, it was my first time last year. So I don't know if people that are connected today, they were there in the event, I don't know, but it was a very, very good event. So this year in March, we also participate in the event with a video that I sent to the platform. And I look forward to work with the Chamber of Commerce. And for any question, you can find all the information with Mr. Peter. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're most welcome. I really appreciate Nenete. Thank you so much. I know time difference and all that, but thank you very much. We'll be seeing you in 2 weeks' time or so, God willing. And yeah, we'll have a success event there. I told them a little bit of about your story, working together, and what you are
Yes.
doing now. And you will be very useful for most of these, investors, entrepreneurs, and leaders who want to work with West Africa and Europe, because now you have dual citizenship, and that is a very good thing from Brussels and Luanda, I mean Angola. Yeah, so we really
I look
appreciate so much.
forward to work together. I look forward.
Yes, and even the Francophone speaking countries, one of the board
Yes.
member, Benson, are you here? Mutoko, are you here? We have our new
Yes,
board.
I'm here.
You can say hi to Neneta. You will be a contact person in your those French speaking countries. You can talk to her a little bit in your. He speaks French very fluently, by the way.
Bonsoir, bonsoir.
Bonsoir, madame. Bonsoir, ça va?
Ok, je vais très bien, merci.
Moi aussi, je suis très heureux de faire votre connaissance de vous. Ça fait beaucoup de quoi.
Pas de problème. Comme je disais, pour toute information, vous pouvez vous connecter avec Mr. Peter
Oui,
de la Chambre de commerce AMEC. Et
oui,
lui, il a toutes les informations. Enchanté.
d'accord. Enchanté de faire votre connaissance. Je vais faire mon mieux de connecter avec vous. Merci. Et
Okay,
bonne soirée.
thank you.
Merci, au revoir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Peter.
I'll make sure next time I understand that very well. You
Okay.
One of the challenges we have as leaders is to be able to accommodate one another, and language is very key. We saw this AU chairmanship, Neneta, one of the Raila Odinga was from Kenya, and the other guy, Portuguese speaking, and we know the geopolitics around that. That guy had an upper hand because he can speak fluent English and he can speak French very well, and probably Portuguese.
Netherlands too. It's Dutch.
Yes, Netherlands, Dutch, yes, and Brussels. Which language?
It's
That's Belgium, right?
Dutch and French.
And French. You see, yeah. So leaders, challenge to learn a new language. I know. People like Stanley, the French speaking. Stanley, you're here. If you're able to speak. Stanley, we met in the bank, networking. And then when we were, doing, trying to establish ourselves, we found ourselves in the same neighborhood, working in the leadership of the estate as well. I don't know whether he's able to speak, Stanley, but one day we'll also speak about that, why it's important to learn one or two languages or to affiliate yourself. The Francophone speaking countries, there are economic advantages, in those countries. And you need to look at the GDP combined, and why Africa needs to have those guys involved as well. So it's important to look into that. And that goes to something else, culture, Yeah, as you become international and trade with different people, you'll be shocked because people have different languages and all that. So, guys, we have some work to do, okay? We really have some work to do in terms of learning cultures. I was telling somebody every time I'm about to close a deal with a Chinese, different Chinese, they start asking for my birth date. They have their one way of looking at you using your date of birth. I may not agree with all that, but I need to understand why they ask that. Yeah. For Indians, they can say, they can shake their head. They are saying yes. We are used to when you shake your head, you're saying no. Different cultures. Who wants to be greeted? This Muslim lady who doesn't want to shake your hands, and what that means when you're giving your business card, why you should stand, why you should give facing which way, and you hold with your two hands. Because that can be what is between you and a deal, and a grant, and a financial, and a business partner, and all that. Okay, so it's very important we look into these things. But I know the host is bringing in the speaker. That was Santos. She will be one of the speakers in the upcoming event based in Angola. And then you have Professor Augusto Makwengo. He's the chief budget officer for African Development Bank based in Ivory Coast. Is very instrumental talking to us about funding. I'm seeing many people asking that, how can you get grants? Why there's a lot of potential in Africa and all that. You'll be one of the upcoming speakers. You have Peter James, who is a scientist and an innovator, and who is very zealous about the opportunities Africa. You know, this guy tells, he was speaking to us at Kemvisk, and he was told us, have you ever known that your map, Africa, was reduced intentionally so that you think even your continent is less than that? And do you know the opportunities are there? It's very good when you hear this from a foreigner advocating and telling us, you guys need to wake up, you know. Yeah, Dr. Romeo Santos is this guy is listed in Forbes Australia. You know, he's a big shot talking about FDIs, foreign direct investments, talking about the opportunities in fintech, especially. Yeah, you know, one of the speakers will be coming. Maybe next, if there is more speakers lined, just to show you that you should not miss the next session. Yeah, I probably will not be the one speaking, but you know, you're going to see them on the socials. You know, we're going to send the invites, and you'll see these people coming to speak to you on the opportunities which are there, and we're going to connect you to them as and you want. You know, it's a networking entity, okay, and so we connect people to potential opportunities for people to work with, okay. Wairimu, you are here from Magical World. I think you had a question to respond to. Wairimu? Team Amek, can you check Wairimu? I can respond to a few questions there so that as we come to the tail end of this. Wairimu had some question that she was saying she's going to respond to. Who was talking to Wairimu from Team Amek? Engage her. But then I'm going to, I know Ruth responded to some of those questions. I'm going to have a few responses here. And somebody asked, what are the easiest methods of management? Easiest, you know. And let me tell you, this is not like the gospel truth. We just give examples. Benefit of the experience that we have, benefit of research, benefit of people that we work with. So for example, when you ask what is the easiest management methods, I'll tell you, please set clear goals, okay? Have a clear goal where you're going. Make sure those goals are measurable, yeah? But while at it, please don't forget what you have said tonight. Be agile, be ready in case there's necessary change that you can adopt on the way. The other thing is delegate responsibility with trust. Okay? You cannot kill yourself. You cannot do everything at work. You need to. It's a management style. It's a management advantage if you're able to delegate the responsibility and trust people. That means what? What we are saying, you are taking risk. You're a risk taker. You take risk on that person. And most of the time, when you trust people, they will shock you by what they can do. Actually, okay. The other one is communication. Any relationship there is no communication is a problem. Please communicate and do so regularly and do so consistently. By the way, maybe something that I should have mentioned that initially is that success in anything needs consistent. So you cannot wake up today. It's like the guy who wants to really lose some kilos. So they wake up one day, they go for gym, they run, they are sweating, the joints are very painful, and then they say, "Now I've lost everything." One day, and you think you will, you can't. Everything needs consistency. Actually, you'd rather have consistency over intensity. I normally do what I call morning musings. So that's one of the last month, one of the thoughts that came to me in the morning, that you need consistency over intensity. Not how much you do stuff. Everything be consistent on it, even if step by step, and that is the real success for a leader. Okay. But when communicating and ledger, I got some, this guy called Jeff Bezos, when he ran Amazon through decentralized teams, that he was calling them two pizza teams. You can check it, is on internet, yeah? And he created small units managing themselves. Just look at that, Jeff Bezos, and you'll see that kind of example that can fit in there, yeah? Somebody asked how to be an effective leader and improve leadership, okay? Of course, as an effective leader, you have to practice empathy. You need to have vision, and you need consistency in it. Yeah. While you stand with something, let people know you stand by that. For example, if you say you need to report by this time, if you say you need to handle customers this way, don't change on the way, because most of the time you can find your team hitting back on you. Because most of the time discipline is not sweet. So even when you're insisting on things that are right and supposed to be done, you may find you're getting resistance. And so, you need to practice empathy. You need to be very visionary, consistent, and insist on the things that are right and engage. Okay. Yeah. Discipline is important. I don't know what is your take, but removing the political side, like Paul Kagame, the political side, from a country that people had killed themselves to what Rwanda is today. What Rwanda is today, guys. The vision is very clear. The guy knew where he's going, and they insisted on discipline. Okay? And today we know where that is. So some things are, you must have consistency, you must have your vision, you must have discipline while you're doing this. Discipline, actually, they are synonyms, brother and sister with consistency. If you are disciplined, you will do it again and again and again. Okay? So, hey, good questions. Huh? How do you lead wisely? When politics, I think that was what you meant. When politics is everywhere. Okay, how do you lead wisely when politics is everywhere? Okay. I would say stay mission driven. Stay with the mission, not politically driven. Please. Yeah, have a mission and not politics. All right. And you can imagine us being a chamber, a public entity, how much we have to waive off politics. Huh? Yeah. Sometimes I do media interviews. I'm with NTV or KTN or whichever, and you find the question they're asking, it's like I need to respond for political reasons. I respond for economic reasons. And even when you find me touching politics, I'm touching politics because of the impact they have on the economical side. Okay. But we are not the people who are partisan and all that. We have our mission. We know our mission. I just told you here about our vision, which really, you drive the mission from there. Okay. As you are fostering sustainable trade, investment, and innovation. Okay. That will be done through networking. That will be done through advocacy. That is going to be done through quality engagements. That is going to be done with sustainable partnerships that are not lopsided, And so what are we talking about? Our mission and vision. We have to stick there, okay? So this politician or that politician is going to come and they want to take advantage and ride on the chamber and all that. And probably we can be lured for this benefit or that benefit, but then now you kill the organization and everything. So that is about us, but I'm saying to lead wisely, whoever asked the question, you said, how do I lead wisely where politics is everywhere? I think you meant when politics is everywhere. Yeah. So stay mission driven, not political driven. Don't, these political regimes, if you're at that level where it matters, they will come and go. They will come and go. So what happens if this regime goes and you are inclined to that particular regime? Yeah. Yeah. This guy called Moria, or the Sea of Centum, that guy has remained very neutral. I can give that as an example. He's remained very neutral when, there's been a lot of election cycles and regimes and far right, yeah, that I can give as an example. You can study him if you are here, whoever asked this question, because it was sent earlier. You can look into that, okay? Okay. I'm trying to see the questions. There's role of leadership in driving sustainable innovations. What is the role of leadership in driving sustainable innovation? Yeah. The thing is, I think we shouldn't just empower our teams to think long term. Okay. This word sustainability is not a joke, because it will be beneficial if at the end of the day it's sustainable. Yeah. So this is a big deal, guys. And that is what we stand for in the chamber, sustainability. Yeah. Don't see where you are today. And that's why most of the times entrepreneurs, you get a challenge today, you leave. When I used to work in the bank and I was in credit risk, we used to say, If you don't have a vintage of 3 years and you're coming to borrow money from the bank, then we're not sure. You need to survive the 3 years first, and that's about lethargy. So most entrepreneurs, they will give up on the way. Most leaders, they will give up on the way. When you're trying to do something, expect challenges. Yeah. So please have a long-term, a view of things and empower your team to do that. Even most of our teams also, when you are a leader, most of your team, they lack long-term. So they normally look at you, instead of looking at what is the potential of my employer, where I'm working in terms of the knowledge, the exposure I'm getting, and where they will be tomorrow. They look at how much are you able to pay me, and that is it. That is the long and short of it. Not at okay, even if I earn so much, I'm earning today. How about tomorrow? It's good to have a long-term view of things. Yeah. In that term, I think we can look at Elon Musk very well. This guy kept on investing in Tesla and SpaceX. Yeah, despite very, very, very, very huge losses at the beginning. But we know the story about today. Yeah, the guy had a long-term innovation vision, and today, I mean, Elon Musk, yeah, the guy. I love the story when the other day he was having problem accessing Brazil with this internet thing, and then he said he's going to provide it for free. Yeah, because he is having issues with regulation. He's taking on a nation with such a GDP. Yeah. Okay. Another question was on mental health in leadership, and I must acknowledge mental health is a big deal. It's a big, big deal. You need to promote supportive work culture. And you need to look into your mental health, and your mental health here means you are conscious with yourself. If you lose yourself, guys, then trying to build an organization, trying to succeed, then you lose everything. You will not be able to benefit. You will not be there. So you need to recognize signs of burnout. Yeah, recognize signs of burnout in an organization. And be very careful, on resting. And I say I need to rest. I need to be healthy even for the sake of what I'm trying to do. It's actually about sustainability. I need to be healthy. So I will take a rest for that reason. I will notice the signs in my body and all that. And I know when I have rested, I have efficiency and all that. Yeah. Of course, there are pressure moments. You have I'm the author of the Last Minute Adrenaline book. You can find it at Textbook Center, Nuria stores online, or get directly from us. And in that book, we talk about the energy surge when a deadline is coming. And most people, they say, I am a last minute person. So some people, they wait until the last minute to execute duties, even leaders. And the question is that the best way? Because they say, I always achieve, but you can have good. Is it the best? Okay, that is a question I ask. What if that energy, that focus you have when a deadline is coming? What if you have that every day? What if you're able to harness, we call it harnessing the power of the last minute. What if you're able to do these things, stage by stage? Yeah, I've been really, really wondering around about this so much until I wrote a book about it, The Last Minute Adrenaline. It's about achievement. It's also about procrastination. You wait for things to be done the last minute. Sometimes it's because things are challenging, so you don't want to attack it now. Or, essence of matrix, do you know what is important and what is urgent? Do you know the difference between what is important and urgent, and what is urgent and not important, and how to treat them? That you can delegate something that is urgent and is not important, and you concentrate on what is important and urgent. And something that is not urgent and not important, you can leave it. Yeah. Are you able to classify all those things? Then at the end of the day, you will be able to take care of your mental health, because you will not be found caught up in these things. So we are talking about planning, really, time management at the end of the day. Very, very critical factors for leadership, because I tell people, leadership, I mean, time is the one resource that you really have to take care of through and through. Very, very important. Yeah. So we remember we said we are finishing at 9, and we really have to keep time. We'll finish by that time. I'll take a few questions here, but we can have a break. Remember the people who, the guy who won the first round when we began, we have a gift for you. Please share your contacts. If you are within that, share your contacts on the chat, on the email that we gave. We'll engage with you and see how we can help one another. We want to understand what you do. Is there a way the chamber can help you? Yes, and we'll have a gift for you. And then we are going to have another one now, a break on that. As we look into the questions, please respond any question that you have, put it here so that we'll be able to work together, and at the end of the day we can talk about success, guys. Very, very important for us to do this. And I keep reminding you this: the fact that you chose to join this, it means you are looking into leadership, you want to succeed really, and you understand that you need to improve yourself, and that is some of the tenets for success. Humility, you seek learning, you are teachable, you are agile, versatile, and all of the above. Okay, so Maxwell Kadambi, let's have that one immediately, and then we can go to the next level. Okay, you can tell me once you're ready, Maxwell. I can respond to one more question here because we really have to finish. Guys, we'll finish by that time, and I hope you have given all the questions. If you have given a question here, because I'm seeing there are many here, and we need to ensure we respond. You can also leave your contact. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that was very informative. I am directed. Thank you. Okay, fine. Okay. Good evening, and thank you for the insightful discussion. My name is Purity Ngoyai, and I sit on the East Africa Law Society Committee for Young Lawyers, as well as the Oil and Gas Committee. My question touches on investment and leadership from a national development standpoint. We have seen that countries, including Kenya, often prioritize foreign investors, especially from nations, with specialized expertise for major infrastructure and industrial projects, as was case with China in the construction of the GR, or Nigerians' acceptance of foreign oil farms over local enterprises, while Kenya has the technical capacity and skilled manpower. The real challenge seems rooted in management competence and institutional trust, where you are speaking deep things here, okay? In your view, how can we move beyond this hurdle to create an environment where local investors can confidently take the lead in major sectors, securing not only national growth, but also competitive edge in regional and global markets? Purity, you are here? It's a good question. Very good question. Okay, yeah, thank you. You're here. So, we have relied on foreigners, and today, some of us like me, we use the expressway, of course, constructed by China. And sometimes my kids, they will tell me now we are in China when we're up there, and the guys in Kenya, they are stuck down there. What a joke. But history justifies what is happening painfully and shamefully, because most of the roads which were constructed by our local constructors, the integrity issues brought very below par performance. Roads done within 1 year, they are gone, because somebody wanted to spare money, for 1, 2, 3 reasons, or because I got that contract, probably because, there was corruption. Because, those are the vices that are hitting on us, okay? And so this question is so relevant and very important for us. And what we said is, so do we sit here as me and you and start blaming and complaining these guys are not doing this? Or do we ask pertinent questions like the way Puritica guy asked here? Because what we are saying is, can we begin where we are? Okay. And those of us who can influence policy, you're working with the East Africa Law Society, probably you committee for young lawyers, maybe you're a wakili there. You see, so the question is, if you have the opportunity, I would want to engage you more. Please ensure you get contact for us. You can get with us on, some of the discussions on these things. We can take it to the next level. But what you're asking is what we have shown, and sometimes I say it is good things to happen the way they happen. When the government went that route and brought the Chinese to do SGR, to do the expressway and all that, you can imagine if it was a local contractor and did a shoddy job and you don't have the road that you have today. You have them and it's more expensive. Locals would have benefited, okay, in terms of that revenue coming back here. But the fact that this has not happened, they have brought us to another level. Today, we know you can do a thicker superhighway and it remains for many years. You can do an SGR and you can do an expressway. You can do this many eastern bypass, northern, southern, whatever, all over, Now, if a local contractor is to be given a job after this, then we have a yard to compare with. We have a standard set already. So sometimes there is knowledge transfer. You are open, and that's why you hear it's good to travel and to interact with people from different places, and then you get exposed. So for us, in this case, when they do the standard infrastructure that is happening here, then we are on that level. Any other case, somebody doing another job, a shoddy job, somebody will know you have missed. So I think from where we come from, roads done, 1 year down here, that line, others not even done, but money has been dispersed. We're seeing it all over in the social media. But if you go to a Chinese government, you will do that. We are paying for it. They have hired it and all that. But I think there is a good in that we can learn from that. And the aggressiveness of the Kenyan and the youth and the direction that we are going, I'm sure tomorrow purity, time being the asset that we have, things are going to change based on what is happening because there's knowledge transfer happening. As long as you come to construct that road here, you'll employ some locals here. You'll see the standard of what you're doing. We'll see the machines, what you're doing. The regimes as they come, they will not allow, construct some shoddy thing there and without Kenyans interfering where we are. So it's a good thing, the global village as it has come. But it could have been done better if it were done by the locals. But the truth is, we didn't do that. But then we also ask sometimes, could it have been capacity issues? Yeah, we take the money and then we just do it. And part of it is also the leadership thing we are talking about. Somebody is not long-term, is not seeing, if I do this road and I do it very well, and my margins and my profits come down, yeah, tomorrow I'll be called and another one. So you eat kidogo, you eat little, sorry for those who don't understand Swahili, you eat little today and you benefit little, your margins are little as a business person, and then it is consistent. It is coming and coming and coming. Other than doing one thing now, and nobody wants to work with you, or you don't have peace and all that. And I think in our own little way, as we do business and all that, please give that customer service. Please make sure that your entity delivers to a level whereby tomorrow you're not ashamed. Don't look at benefit, because most of the time you're trying to save on cost. You're trying to look at yourself, not at the benefit of the person you are giving the service or the product we're supposed to get. And that is what now these guys are teaching us. They will come and do one road expressway. You fear any other person doing it. You want them to do, right? And then the shift now comes from cost to what you have. And most of the time, that is how things go. Most of the time, you will ask yourself, is it that I want a cheap thing or I want something that I'm going to benefit from? I want quality and value. And most of the time when something is done well, the shift moves from price and it moves to a return on investment in terms of the value that you're going to get for it. Purity, that is a very good question. And I really appreciate that. Somebody has just drawn my attention to the chat here, even though we have very many questions here. Yeah. Purity continued. I'll just read this is a statement you did, then I can go to the next person. For instance, Kenya is globally recognized for flour production, yet we lack strong indigenous farms that handle bulk retail or distribution internationally. How do we shift this narrative and ensure local ownership and leadership in sectors where we already demonstrate clear competence? Wow. We are, yeah, we recently we were really involved. I think it was 2019, the first time Kenya started taking flowers, especially roses, to Malaysia, exporting to Malaysia. Most of it, the carnations, the roses, have been going to Holland. Yeah. We lack strong indigenous farms that handle bulk retail or distribution internationally. Of course, this is it's about the networks, and that is what we are doing here in Chempa. The problem is an opportunity for somebody. Yeah. We need to ensure that local ownership and leadership in sectors where we already demonstrate clear competence. Yeah, over the years, I would say over the years, most of the flower farms here, they're owned by foreigners, and because they also have the market. I was looking at the EPZ, I also realized they are foreigners because they have the market. But you know what? This is the time that we can go that direction. We need people like Purity to be bold because they have the information and they start. And we need resilience because some of these places, they have cartels, people who know what to do where. You know, we need resilience for that purpose. And so, I mean, these are very pertinent questions, Purity. Yeah. Yeah. So my question is, within ourselves, the people who are still here and you have held on up to this period, you know, what do you make of yourself? Do you take yourself as a change agent or do you despise yourself? In the little thing that you do, you are doing some cleaning industry there, you're a this tech person, you are young or mature and all that, you are people from all, you know, what do you do? Yeah. Somebody joins with the Kenya Minister of Agriculture, that should be government, I think, the Minister of Agriculture. Well, if you are able to unmute, you can mute. We are closing down, but thank you so much for that. I've just seen it. Yeah. You can see we have gone for 2 hours and we are not able to exhaust this kind of discussions. But I want to challenge you with my closing remarks here. I have a lot of questions here. Please, the numbers which have been given there, yeah, the numbers which have been given there, please take them. My team, you can, the AMEC team, you can also put those numbers of us again there. You can shoot the questions. We'll take the numbers and we'll respond to you directly. You know, we will welcome you. We are based at Mpaka House, Mpaka Road, second floor, North Wing, room 15. That's where we are. You can be able to meet our team there. But what I'm trying to say is, for you who is here and you've pushed up to this, please take initiative. Things are done by people like you and me. And let these changes begin with where you are working. Let this change begin with where you are schooling. Let these changes begin with your family, okay? Let them begin with your entrepreneuring activity that you're doing in your business, where you are, yeah? Work on improving, be agile, be focused, have resilience, be a forward-thinking leader. It is work to be done. Nothing good comes easy, but you go that route, it becomes easier by the day as you reap benefits. Okay. So thank you very much, team, for joining. We really appreciate you. It has been a moment. You know, this is like a lodge for this event, and I'm saying you're going to see many much more. We're going to have the screen that has our contacts and that has our web, which you can scan. Okay. So from me, thank you very much. I don't know whether anybody has anything to say, my team, as we bring this to a close. Okay. We have all these questions we have taken here. I just want to ensure that we keep time and you know, ensure that we get back to you. Thank you. I've seen even people like Washington, you have given your numbers. Kirunji, have given your numbers. Okay. Our numbers are on the screen there. Yeah. Take those numbers quickly. Yeah. And guys, you are really, really, really appreciated for keeping time up to this. We had foreigners. We had somebody from sorry, Ethiopia, from India, from Malaysia, from Angola. We had representation from those sides, but time differences and all that. But anyway, they were not supposed to speak today. We'll give them their time to speak. Okay, so keep on the lookout, and let's work together. You know, somebody talks about investment, how do they get funds for startups and all that. That is our whole topic that we are also able to engage. Please be ready to come, and then we will be able to work together. Okay. Thank you very much. We will, as you take our conduct, as we take yours, we are going to have a video playing there. Yeah. I'm going to give you one number, 0116. The like, you can call it our hotline, 0116 00 000 I've also put it there. Foreigners, that is +254 116 000 Okay. So thank you very, very much. We are honored to have you. Our website is there, amec.org, www.amec.org. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate you guys for staying this far. Okay. Yeah, and type the website, somebody asking.
It was a great day, the day that the third CEO Conclave and Investors Dinner happened, the third edition really. We hosted speakers and investors from Holland, from Malaysia, from Angola, from Belgium, and many other participants from Kenya. It was a great day, and the theme was fostering innovative solutions for a resilient future. Innovative and sustainable solutions for a resilient future. That's the discussion that we had today. And we've seen speakers talk about innovation and sustainability in agriculture, innovation and sustainability in health, innovation and sustainability in fintechs, innovation and sustainability in real estate, and virtually all the sectors, including manufacturing.
Cell Foundation from Holland. We are developing new antibiotics, but also new crop protection products. We are democratizing both industries, the health industries and the agriculture industry. We know that Africa will nourish the world, and Kenya will lead this movement. And this event has been very successful, a lot of new contacts, and also very good questions.
Hi, I'm Camillo Sergiacomo, CEO of Geoponica Consulting Global Trader. We are a company based here in Kenya and in Italy. I come from biology. I'm a doctor in cell biology and pharmaceutical. I'm here at AMEC because the opportunities here are amazing. We do networking, we present, we find the people that we need to operate in Africa, in Kenya, and we're now currently developing two products. One is passive refrigerations that are autonomous and that can be used to implement the cold supply, and also we're producing panels for housing that would require 3 days to build a house without impacting the ecological systems.
My name is CPA Ronald Bosi. I'm the group managing partner of Ronald's LLP, an audit, tax, and financial advisory firm based in Nairobi, but operating across the East African region, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and other East African countries. So today's event was an incredible event, bringing together CEOs to discuss issues of sustainability, innovation, and how that is very critical in an organizational leadership. So the members, the team coming from Netherlands, it was an incredible networking event.
that actually gives the participants an opportunity to connect with people with different solutions, with the demand for their products and services, and just to be able to fellowship with colleagues in the similar leadership capacity.
Gördüğünüz gibi orospu çocuklarının istilası.
Other members, the members of the chambers, the public, just also to patronize these events so that they be able to benefit from the networking sessions and also an incredible learning opportunity for them. Thank you so much to the organizers. I really appreciate them giving us this opportunity to be part of this great initiative.
I'm Izia from Malaysia. First of all, thank you for MX that bring us to here in Kenya, Nairobi. This is our first time here. So reason why we are coming here is more to prospecting, and we are actually coming from a biotechnology company from Malaysia. So we have a products called Vigor Biofertilizer, and also biocontrol products. It's a bacteria-based products that can actually help the industry for the agriculture. So we are hoping that we are bring the correct products that can promote in the country and overall from here and also to other part of Africa. And we are quite sure that our products can actually help the farmer and also the farm industry, especially for the improve on the yield, increase of the absorption, and generally we hope to help farmer get better life by improve their yield, so get more money and getting something that can be more safe and also more sustainable for the industry. Thank you so much.
Selamun aleyküm.
It was a great day, the day that the third CEO Conclave and Investors Dinner happened, the third edition of it. Hosted speakers from Malaysia, from many other. It was a great day, and the theme was fostering innovative and sustainable solutions for a resilient future. That's the discussion that we had today. And we've seen speakers talk about innovation and sustainability in real estate and virtually all the sectors, including manufacturing.
Social foundations.
İyi polis Emre geldi. Orospunun evladı. İyi yaptın. Bak.
But also crop protection products. We are democratizing both industries and
Ayıp değil mi lan?
we know that Africa will nourish the world and Kenya will lead this movement. And this event has been very successful, new contacts, and also very good questions.
Hi, I'm Camillo Sergiacomo, CEO of Geoponica Consulting Global Trader. We are a company based here in Kenya and in Italy. I come from a doctor in cell biology and pharmaceutical. I'm here at AMEC because the opportunities here are amazing. We do networking, we present, we find the people that we need to operate in Africa, in Kenya. And we are now currently developing two products. One is passive refrigerations that are autonomous and that can be used to implement the cold supply, and also we're producing panels for housing that would require 3 days to build a house without impacting the ecological systems.
My name is CPA Ronald Bossi. I'm the group managing partner of Ronald's LLP, an audit, tax and financial advisory firm based in Nairobi, but operating across the East African region, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and other.
In today's interconnected
countries.
world, future of business.
This event was an incredible event, bringing together CEOs to discuss issues of sustainability, innovation, and how that is very critical in an organizational leadership. So the members
In today's interconnected world, business opportunities transcend borders, but navigating the complexities of international trade requires a strong network and strategic insights. That is where the Africa, Asia, Middle East Chamber of Commerce, AMEC, comes in. AMEC is a premier business network connecting leaders and entrepreneurs across 3 continents. Our mission: to foster trade, investment, and collaboration between Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, creating sustainable business opportunities that drive global growth.
AMEC came into existence because of the need for economic growth in these regions. And you find that networking is a key thing for economic growth. The exchange of ideas, the exchange of knowledge, the exchange of innovation. And therefore, AMEC was birthed to meet that need. AMEC has really managed to come up with networking events. A key and notable event is the CEO Conclave and Investors Dinner that attracts investors, that attracts speakers and technocrats from across the world. We're actually doing our 3rd event at the Villarosa Kempinski on the 13th of March, which has attendees and speakers and investors from Holland, from Italy, from Belgium, from Malaysia, from other African countries like Angola, and from Kenya itself, with peers of trade, with a bus send of Malaysia to Kenya in attendance, with reputable and well-known CEOs like the Dr. Kimgetich of Jubilee Holdings. The theme for this edition is sustainable innovation for a resilient future. And so across the chapters, there will be a lot of discussions, a lot of exchange, sharing information on innovation and sustainability, whether it is at the health sector, whether it's at education, whether it's in agriculture. How can innovation, lead to sustainability for a resilient future economically? The event is open for everyone. It talks about the economy of the region or the regions that are in question. And so anybody who is in any sector or any business, any entrepreneur doing a legit economic engagement is welcome and will be participating. So it is for members of the chamber and non-members of the chamber.
AMEC is more than just a chamber of commerce. It is a movement of visionary leaders shaping the future of business. And now we invite you to be part of this exclusive network at the upcoming CEO Conclave on March 13th. Engage with top executives, participate in thought-provoking discussions, and gain the knowledge and connections to propel your business forward. Don't miss this opportunity to pioneer innovation and sustainable investment for a resilient future. Register today for the CEO Conclave and take the next step toward. In today's interconnected world, business opportunities transcend borders, but navigating the complexities of international trade requires a strong network and strategic insights. That is where the Africa, Asia, Middle East Chamber of Commerce, AMEC, comes in. AMEC is a premier business network connecting leaders and entrepreneurs across 3 continents. Our mission: to foster trade, investment, and collaboration between Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, creating sustainable business opportunities that drive global growth.
AMEC came into existence because of the need for economic growth in these regions. And you find that networking is a key thing for economic growth. The exchange of ideas, the exchange of knowledge, the exchange of innovation. And therefore, AMEC was birthed to meet that need. AMEC has really managed to come up with networking events. A key and notable event is the CEO Conclave and Investors Dinner that attracts investors, that attract speakers and technocrats from across the world. We're actually doing our third event at the Villarosa Kempinski on the 13th of March, which has attendees and speakers and investors from Holland, from Italy, from Belgium, from Malaysia, from other African countries like Angola, and from Kenya itself, with peers of trade, with a bus send of Malaysia to Kenya in attendance, with reputable and well-known CEOs like the Dr. Kimbetich of Jubilee Holdings. The theme for this edition is sustainable innovation for a resilient future. And so across the chapters, there will be a lot of discussions, a lot of exchange, sharing information on innovation and sustainability, whether it is at the health sector, whether it's at education, whether it's in agriculture. How can innovation, lead to sustainability for a resilient future economically? The event is open for everyone. It talks about the economy of the region or the regions that are in question. And so anybody who is in any sector or any business, any entrepreneur doing a legit economic engagement is welcome and will be participating. So it is for members of the chamber and non-members of the chamber.
AMEC is more than just a chamber of commerce. It is a movement of visionary leaders shaping the future of business. And now we invite you to be part of this exclusive network at the upcoming CEO Conclave on March 13th. Engage with top executives, participate in thought-provoking discussions, and gain the knowledge and connections to propel your business forward. Don't miss this opportunity to pioneer innovation and sustainable investment for a resilient future. Register today for the CEO Conclave in the 3 continents. Our mission: to foster trade, investment, and collaboration between Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, creating sustainable business opportunities that drive global growth.
AMEC came into existence because of the need for economic growth in these regions. And you find that networking is a key thing for economic growth. The exchange of ideas, the exchange of knowledge, the exchange of innovation. And therefore, AMEC was birthed to meet that need. AMEC has really managed to come up with networking events. A key and notable event is the CEO Conclave and Investors Dinner that attracts investors, that attracts speakers and technocrats from across the world. We're actually doing our third event at the Villarosa Kempinski on the 13th of March, which has attendees and speakers and investors from Holland, from Italy, from Belgium, from Malaysia, from other African countries like Angola, and from Kenya itself, with peers of trade, with a bus send of Malaysia to Kenya in attendance, with reputable and well-known CEOs like the Dr. Kimbetich of Jubilee Holdings. The theme for this edition is sustainable innovation for a resilient future. And so across the chapters, there will be a lot of discussions, a lot of exchange, sharing information on innovation and sustainability, whether it is at the health sector, whether it's at education, whether it's in agriculture. How can innovation, lead to sustainability for a resilient future economically? The event is open for everyone. It talks about the economy of the region or the regions that are in question. And so anybody who is in any sector or any business, any entrepreneur doing a legit economic engagement is welcome and will be participating. So it is for members of the chamber and non-members of the chamber.
AMEC is more than just a chamber of commerce. It is a movement of visionary leaders shaping the future of business. And now we invite you to be part of this exclusive
That It was a great day, the day that the third CEO Conclave and Investors Dinner happened, the third edition really. We hosted speakers and investors from Holland, from Malaysia,